Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to start a series about where you should or should not take your vehicle for service, whether it be the dealer, an independent repair facility, either one. There are pros and cons to both, and this is the beginning of a two-part series that I'm going to do on the subject. So if you haven't already, subscribe so that you know when the next one is posted. Alright, so today we're going to talk about the top 6 reasons I've found to avoid an independent repair facility. Whether it be a chain lube oil and filter type place like Jiffy Lube or something like that, or whether it be a mom and pop service station that's been around for 40 years, they're all independent and not associated with a manufacturer. Alright, so I've been in the automotive industry on and off for about 10 years in the parts department, in the service department, everything but sales really, and I've learned a lot over the years, and so I wanted to share that with you. In the service department, you come into contact with all kinds of different situations, and so this is my experience with those. All right, one of the things I see a lot with independent repair shops or service stations is hidden costs and a lot of upsells. What do I mean by this? Well, have you ever driven by a service facility and saw a sign saying oil changes $19.99? Really, they don't cost $19.99. No matter what car you drive, even if it's a 25-year-old car, between the cost of oil and the filter and paying someone to do it, $20 doesn't even buy enough oil anymore to put in these cars, even if you put conventional oil and not synthetic. So $20, they're really just paying you to come into the shop so that they can get other money out of you, which is a criticism a lot of people have with dealers. A lot of times kind of take for granted what independent repair facilities do as well. So things like $20 oil changes or things like very inexpensive state inspections, those things are going to be designed so that they are basically paying you to come into the shop so that you buy other things. One shop I know where I grew up when I was a kid, every year when you went in for inspection, you needed wiper blades to pass state inspection. I've had friends that have gone there. They might have replaced them a few weeks prior, but that mechanic always said that he wouldn't pass your car unless you replace the wiper blades. And so that's one little sale that it doesn't cost a lot out of pocket, but it's one thing that may or may not have actually been needed. That was a money generator for them. So one of the main things to me, working and seeing things come in dealerships that I've worked at, mistakes that have been made due to the lack of training. Training of the employees at these independent repair facilities is very across the board. It's hard to know what you're getting when you go there. I know one place near where I live, it's a multi-generational business, and they have 5 or 6 technicians. A few of them have gone through many training sessions and are basically dealer level technicians and know what they're talking about. But that's not the case in a lot of situations. When you go to things like Jiffy Lubes or AutoZone or Napa, stuff like that, or Walmart or Costco or anything that has a service center available to you, to be honest, a lot of times they're paying their guys minimum wage and they're just off the street and they just hired them because they needed a job. They don't really know necessarily what they're doing, and in some cases they're actually getting trained by other guys who were in the same situation and were trained by someone else. So you have this cycle of low expertise technicians that are training other technicians who have never done this job before. They could have been flipping burgers at their prior job and just came in because there was an opening and they applied for it and they were hired for it. And that's how they got their job. And then on top of that, every car they get into their service center is different. At a dealer, they're working with pretty much always the same types of vehicles by the same manufacturer. They all act and perform the same way. So they're very experienced with this part fails a lot, or this part should look at because it might be wearing, because it's prone to do that on this model. Oh, this car tends to develop a coolant leak in this spot, so I'm going to keep an eye out on that while it's under warranty so we can get that taken care of. An inexperienced technician is not going to know to look for those specific things or know what is normal or what's not normal. The next part I want to talk about is parts. As a car enthusiast myself, I've often gotten parts aftermarket for my cars that I installed myself. I bought the parts after researching for sometimes hours to make sure that I'm picking the right part that is built by a reputable manufacturer that has a long history of quality parts that happen to be non-original equipment parts. However, when you go to an independent repair facility, you don't know what they're actually buying. They're a lot of times buying inexpensive parts that they got from a local parts store that fit multiple different models. You don't know what the quality is and where it's come from, or who the manufacturer is, or even if the manufacturer offers any kind of a parts warranty. So you kind of have to assume that you're getting reputable parts, but you don't really know. One other drawback about an independent repair facility is convenience. And while you might think that it's inconvenient to go to a dealer, a lot of times a dealer has things like loaner cars that they can offer you or shuttle services that they can offer you. Not all, but most independent repair facilities cannot offer you those. They just don't have the ability to offer you new vehicles to drive while your car is being serviced, or the ability to pay someone and buy a shuttle vehicle to shuttle you wherever you need to go. And if they do have a shuttle, a lot of times it's one guy with a van and you have to go with 3 or 4 other people and stop along the way, just like when you're in school on a bus. And so you never know how long it's going to take you to get where you need to go. Another issue that you can come across when you go to an independent repair facility is a warranty. I've experienced this with my own car. I had something go wrong and the part failed. The part was under warranty, but I had to pay to have the new part replaced again. And so I paid twice to have the same part replaced, which is not cost effective. You don't know what you're going to get and how they're going to stand behind their services. I actually ran into a situation recently. A person took their car to a local shop because they had a flat tire, and the local shop said, "Hey, you're due for an oil change. Let us change your oil." The customer said, "Okay, no problem." So next thing you know, he picks up his car. It doesn't seem to be running right. He calls me, and based on what he's describing, it sounds like they made a pretty serious mistake. What we found when we got the car in the shop is they actually drained the transmission fluid, and then unknowing that they did that, added the oil back into the engine. And so there was double the amount of oil that was supposed to be in the car and little to no transmission fluid in the car, and thereby potentially damaging both in a very serious way. And I've seen this with many manufacturers. It's very easy to do with Subarus because their oil pan and their transmission fluid pan are very close to each other and look very much alike. These are things, if you know what you're looking at, it's easy to not do the wrong thing. But like I said earlier about working on all kinds of different vehicles, the technician didn't know what drain plug he was loosening, and then they only realized later. And unfortunately for this person, the place he took it actually didn't stand behind it. When he showed them the photos and the videos that we had as evidence, the shop owner denied it and wanted nothing to do with him and stopped answering his phone calls. And now the customer has to go after a lawyer to get coverage on this car that was screwed up by this shop. I'm not saying it's always going to happen, and yes, I've seen and heard of dealers where a technician makes a mistake and the car is damaged, but they have the ability to actually stand behind it and repair the car for you depending on the situation. So there's a lot to think about there when you have that situation. All right, so I hope that was helpful and gave you some thought about things to look out for when you're choosing your independent repair facility. It's perfectly fine to go to one, but just be very choosy about where you go to. Check out the reviews that you can find online and talk to some people there and see if they seem like they know what they're talking about. Even if you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to cars, just have a conversation with them and ask them questions. See if that's a place that you want to take your car. So if you haven't already, hit the like button down below if you liked it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. What kind of experience have you had with independent repair facilities? And take a look at my next video coming within a few days. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified when that shows up. Talk to you soon. Thanks.